Alright, hey guys. Welcome to another episode of Hey Guys. Alright, so today we're going to talk about how you can bring in an STL file, adjust it, make it into a solid, and then subtract it out of another solid. And this will get you started for making kind of fake prosthetics. So what I've done is first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I have under Preferences, Preview, I have Mesh Workspace done, and then I'll click OK. Now I'm going to come here, right click, slide down and say Do Not Capture Design History. It's going to give me a little warning sign. I'm going to say Fine, Continue. So now I'm not tracking any timeline at the bottom. Alright, so I'm going to insert a mesh. So I can go in the model environment under Insert Mesh. I'm going to find my scan of the end of my fist and click Open. Now Fusion gives me a free move, remember, so I want to go ahead and turn it sideways. I think that this is going to make it easier for me to work with. And then I'm going to come to the top view. I'm going to try to orient that right over, or just a little bit of it is just the tips of my fingers are beyond the origin line right here. And I'm going to say OK. Alright, so now we need to go into the mesh environment. Sorry about that bell. And let's go back to the home view. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Modify, and I'm going to do a plane cut. Alright, so I'm going to select this mesh body. Now, fortunately, it gave me the exact plane that I wanted. I'm going to come to a top view on this, and I'm going to slide this down. Now, a lot of times, Fusion has a hard time keeping up, and really all I want are the ends of my fingers. Maybe that's a little bit too far. I'm going to come back just a little bit. I just want the tip of my fingers. Alright, now cut type is trim. Infill type. So fill type, it says no fill right now. I want to do minimal because I'm going to create this as a solid body. That means I'm going to have to cut down on the number of triangles in my mesh, and I want to make that be as small amount as possible. So there's just the tips of my fingers. You can see that Fusion has filled this in the back. That's exactly the way I want it. Now, I usually like to do one last thing before I finish, and that is to make sure it's closed mesh, and I'm going to say OK. Alright, now one more thing to do. We're going to reduce the number of faces, so I'm going to select, I've got to change my select tool, Windows selection, select that body. I want to make sure that I maintain adaptive. I don't want uniform. Uniform means that all the triangles are the same size, so I want to keep it adaptive. Now I can either slide this density scale down, or I can come over here and do face count. So if we do face count, we see that we're right around 1140. That might actually be okay. Let's find out. So we're just going to go ahead and click OK. Typically, Fusion wants somewhere below 10,000 faces. Anything more than 10,000, it starts to get a little bit crazy. So now we want to go back to the model environment. We still have our timeline turned off. And if we come over here to Modify and we slide down to Mesh, we're going to do Mesh to B-Rep. Alright, so we tell it we want that body, we want a new body, and we click OK. Alright, so now I should have a nice little solid representation. You can see all the facet, but that's okay. And if we come over here, we see where we still have these mesh bodies, but they've been turned off, and now we have this body here. They're really all the same. It's just the way Fusion looks at them. Alright, so now that I have that, I'm going to go to my Sketch, Create Sketch tool. And for this demonstration, I'm just going to create a rectangle, a 2-point rectangle. I'm going to start here on this origin and come down here. And that way I can create a body like that. Now you can see why I selected, while I moved the fist to where it just crossed the origin line. It made it a lot easier for me to do that rectangle. So I'm going to stop sketch. I'm going to hit E for extrude. Select that. I'm going to pull it up. New body is good. Select OK. Oh, seems like we have something a little amiss here. Alright, let's go ahead and select this. Right click and move. Turns out it looks like I didn't think about my origin. I don't know why it's not moving right now. Oh, because we've got faces. Got to make sure we're moving bodies. So we want to move this body. Let's move it down. I rock. It's Halloween tomorrow. And click OK. Alright, so now we've got the end of our fist buried in this block. Now, I could make that shape anything, but just for this demonstration, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to now go to Modify, Combine, and my target body is going to be this. My tool is this body, but I don't want to join them. I want to cut. And then I'm going to click OK. And now, what do I have? I have my fist impression in this block. Okay? So that's how you're going to get started on this assignment, where you're going to make kind of a fake prosthetic using the end of your fist as if it were the end of the limb that needed a prosthetic attached to it. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed. You could go back now, by the way, and right click and capture design history. You're done working with all that heavy duty stuff. I hope you just enjoyed this episode of Hey Guys, and I'll see you next time.